Ever wonder what happens when you mix an 8-ton whale and a bunch of dynamite? Well, let me take you back to a time when this very question was answered in the most unexpected way. Hint, it's not sushi. In fact, it's far from anything you'd want on your dinner plate. In 1970, an 8-ton whale carcass washed ashore in Florence, Oregon. This wasn't just any ordinary beach day. It was the beginning of a story that would go down in history. The townsfolk were in a bit of a pickle. How do you get rid of something that big? The whale was too large to bury, too heavy to move, and too smelly to leave alone. The stench was unbearable, and the townspeople were desperate for a solution. Naturally, the officials came up with the idea to use dynamite. Yep, dynamite. It seemed like a brilliant plan at the time. The idea was to blow the whale into small pieces that seagulls and other scavengers could clean up. They figured a big explosion would scatter the remains into the ocean, solving their whale-sized problem. The plan was meticulously laid out. Engineers calculated the amount of dynamite needed, and the townsfolk gathered to witness what they thought would be a spectacular solution. But here's where things get explosive. The dynamite was set, the crowd was at a safe distance, and everyone held their breath as the countdown began. Instead of a clean dispersal, the blast sent massive chunks of whale raining down on spectators and cars. The explosion was far more powerful than anticipated, and the remains of the whale were launched into the air like a grotesque fireworks display. Imagine being there, thinking you're about to witness history, only to end up dodging flying blubber. The crowd, initially excited, quickly turned to panic as they realized the danger they were in. One chunk even flattened a car. The force of the explosion was so great that it caused significant damage to nearby property. Talk about a whale of a tale. The event quickly became a source of humor and disbelief. People couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation, even as they cleaned up the mess. This explosive event quickly became an infamous example of a spectacularly failed attempt at problem-solving. News outlets from all over the country picked up the story, and it became a cautionary tale of what not to do. And the best part, it's still remembered today as a legendary moment in Oregon history. People still talk about it, and it has become a part of local folklore. The story is passed down from generation to generation, a reminder of the time when a small town tried to solve a big problem with a big bang. So, next time you're faced with a big problem, maybe think twice before reaching for the dynamite. Consider all the possible outcomes and think about the long-term consequences of your actions. Who knows, you might just be making your own explosive piece of history. And while it might make for a great story, it's probably best to avoid becoming the next cautionary tale. Instead, look for more practical and less explosive solutions to your problems. After all, history has shown us that sometimes the simplest solutions are the best.